This is the most important mural that's ever been created in human history.
Aggressive.
Period.
Period. You put a period on the end.
This, it tells us everything.
Okay.
I've broken this down a bunch of times. Your listeners haven't heard that maybe, so I'm going to break it down again.
Let's do it.
Remember in the tablets it says kingship is lowered, and it literally is created, right? And everything I just said. In this depiction, and I want to break it down, the two beings on the other end are the Anuna. That's why they have wings, and that's why the horns on their helmets have multiple horns that represent status. They are not like we are. They're not kings. They're the beings that we think of as the Anuna, our creators.
So the Anuna, though, I'm just thinking
Yes,
symbolism
please.
as we know it in bullshit modern culture.
Yeah.
Wings good, horns bad. They have both.
Horns are not really bad. That was something that was inverted later.
That's why I'm
Horns
asking.
represented status. That's why bulls were used all throughout Egypt. The bull represented status as power. So, and certain symbols throughout history would have very, very strong connotations and meanings behind them. The two most important symbols for power, like strength, were two things. It was the horns of a bull, a bull itself in Egypt, and a lion. And the lion in Assyria was famous, and you can see depictions of that. They represented strength and power. And so they would depict them in symbols. And the eagle always represented war and empire building. It was like a different mindset. Now, in this depiction, you're seeing our two Anuna on either side passing rulership, kingship, to rule over us, to two different individuals. One of them is a king, and one of them is a priest.
Which one's the king and which one's the priest?
I just need to zoom in really quick. Hold on a second. This image right here, the individual on the right of the tree is holding what's called the rod of rulership in his hand.
Okay.
And that rod of rulership means he's a king.
Got it.
Then the other individual across from him has symbols that basically represent spirit, like religion, and seeking that aspect of it. It's you learn that one's a priest and one's a king.
Got it.
And what it means is that now notice those two beings with the wings. They're passing this. You see that? What they're passing is the symbol of the pine cone, and in their hand they have the handbag. Remember Pillar 43 at Göbekli Tepe? It's got the same handbag symbol below it. This is what I'm breaking down to mean. The Anuna, they know all. They know everything in the universe. They are more powerful than we can ever understand. They seem to somehow be related to creation.
Do they look, I mean, because I'm looking at this and I'm just basing it
Yes.
off like some other
Yes.
murals I look at. Like to me, comparing it to other murals, they look like humans.
Okay, because you see the king and the priest in the middle?
Yeah.
They emanated them. So the reason they look like that all throughout the Middle East, with the long beard and that's braided, was because that was how they physically decided to represent themselves.